Hey, thanks for stopping by the Cosmos Crypto NFT channel. This video will focus on blockchain gaming projects that utilize Cardano NFT collections. These are projects where the NFT acts as the driver of value or is an aspect of the gameplay in these games. Cardano has had NFTs for over a year, and some projects will soon be releasing playable demos or different elements of the game will roll out in stages. Some projects have already begun to do this, or at least made major announcements. As a disclaimer, I do not recommend purchasing any NFTs or cryptocurrencies, which I consider to be extremely risky, volatile, may even become heavily regulated. This is purely an informational video. I do collect NFTs out of pure speculation. It's my hobby. So you will see me talk about the ones that I own and even see me buy some on my videos, including this video. However, nothing I say or do is investment advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not endorsing a particular team, an asset, or any specific token. This is all my opinion, and my channel is for educational purposes only. Speaking of my channel depends on engagement from viewers, so please help me grow by liking and sharing the video. I would also appreciate it if you would subscribe. Um, Comment down below with anything you think I missed or any reaction to this video. That would help me out a lot. So I'm extremely interested in the prospect of Cardano being a gaming blockchain, and especially in its current state where DeFi barely exists, transactions are just not fast enough. The wallet software is way behind the wallets of other ecosystems. So NFTs are kind of the main thing to focus on within Cardano. Um, the TVL for DeFi is extremely low, and you could say that the token price for the ADA price is overvalued because of this, but that doesn't factor in NFTs. And there are over 5,300 verified collections on Cardano, and this is according to OpenCNFT. Cardano could very well become known for NFTs and games before it has a really robust DeFi ecosystem. Although games take a long time to develop, I feel like there are opportunities here to get involved in some NFTs that may become synonymous with NFT gaming on Cardano one day. And the projects that I've chosen are projects that I've been following. I do own some of the NFTs, and look, there might be other projects that are further along in development compared to the ones that I'm talking about. Um, Maybe even those NFTs are better at capturing the value of the game's, overall adoption or the vision of the teams. That's fine. You can comment down below. I'm sure I missed a lot of things in this video, but I'll be talking about three particular projects, two of which are minting right now. So those are ADA Ninjaz, Cardania, and Equine. I've made videos all three before. I'll link those in the description if you want to get caught up on what I've had to say about those, and also interviews with the creators. All right, let's talk about the positives that have drawn me to these projects. Number one is longevity. Each has a docs team. They run their NFT project like a corporation. The fact that they have a business mindset driving the development makes me think they'll be around for a long time. They may even hit almost all or all of the plans in their roadmap. Speaking of planning, they have attainable roadmaps. That's important, right? This means they can continue to develop, and they have the means to develop further. Next is what I mentioned earlier, regulations. These projects seem very well positioned to weather the storm of incoming regulation, and I live in the United States. This will be of great concern to projects who either are based in the United States or have a lot of customers or potential customers in the United States. Fourth, the communities are large, and there are plans to grow the communities. Even though maybe the game is far away from being released, there's plans for the communities to grow. More people can come in, not feel like they got, they lost out on learning about this in time, or they're not losing their current NFT holders by the masses just because they have a hiccup in their plans, or the game is further along than expected. And fifth, maybe the most important thing, right? Their white papers or websites are really organized, Lots of easy to follow information that will not only keep the current holders up to date, but will be easy to bring in new people, right? It can't be that a project does all of its marketing in Discord. You're only going to be able to reach people who not only use Discord, but use Discord um, at the times that you're releasing information. What I like about these projects is they don't rely on any one means of information delivery, and their websites can always be relied on to get what anyone needs as far as background information on the project. Let's start with Ada Ninjas. This is their Twitter, and what I'm looking at here is the demo that they released recently for the game. Uh, the, Now, Ada Ninjas, I'm talking about the gaming aspect of their project, but I have to be careful here because gaming is only one aspect of what they do. They're self-described as an NFT multimedia entertainment company. They have physical manga. They have community-generated music, and they have ambitions to connect their NFT collections to TV. So, gaming is an exciting and fun part of their project, but I don't want to put them into one category by mistake here. And in my recent interview with Zushan, he's a co-founder. The link below will lead you to our interview, and you could get all the info on the other developments besides the game itself, and it'll help you start your deep dive into Ada Ninjas. Now, I want to look at their I want to look at their website. There's a white paper there, and we could just go through basic parts of the white paper so you could see where the game is going. This looks great, by the way, for a blockchain game. Haven't seen anything that's quite like this before, and we'll check the white paper out. Here you can see the basic backstory, and I'll give you a real short version of that. But basically, takes place in a fictional country called Nineveh. There are three clans of ninjas quarreling, and there are these ninja wars going on. The first two clans minted as separate collections; those already minted a couple months ago. The third clan, the Daisuke, they're minting now, and I'm going to mint one of those at the end of this segment here. And more backstory on the Ninja Wars is laid out on the website. Each clan has a specific utility. They'll earn ninja tokens at different rates. Tokenomics also very nicely organized into the white paper here. But the ninja token will basically drive the in-game economy. There'll be items, there'll be tournament rewards, so on and so on. And let's get to the core gameplay here. So basically, there are several different versions of the game that are being developed, right? So it says here, when you enter the game lobby, you'll be presented with a map of Nineveh. Each region will display a set of arena mini games which you can enter and play. So here are the gameplay styles. PVE, that's what we just saw, right? Going against computer characters, not another person. But then there's PvP, where you do battle against another person. There's something called a lucky arena, right? These are mini games. They're heavily luck influenced. And then a ladder arena where the players play through increasing levels of difficulty. Um, Now, I did speak with a team member right before this, and he said that there's going to be a team setting where different clans that you identify with will control different areas of the map, and it'll be an ongoing battle, and rewards will be paid out. Um, that demo we just saw is a very rough demo. There have been improvements since that was cut. Um, Smokestab is the gaming company responsible for the overall look of this game, and from what I've been told, they're just like working nonstop to push out a playable version of the game, which should be coming soon. Um, the environment will get more reactive. There'll be more of a map to roam, and the rollout of these games are going to happen in phases. All right, the community is going to end up weighing in and direct development of the game. If the community does not want something, it's not going to be implemented, right? And the goal is to make it fun. So they're an entertainment company first. So NFTs are going to be added later on, right? Characters, what was relayed to me, where there are some kind of potions, power ups, there's gear, there'll be skins. Even the possibility of creating your own characters to use in the game exists here. And that goes back with the, one of the advantages to using NFTs in a game, right? You get to own the pieces of the game. Now, I did ask, hey, you've got like 3,000 something wallet holders for your first series, 2,000 something in your second series. That's not that many people for a game. What if you don't have an NFT? And what I was told was the game is going to be open to all people, right? You don't need to own one of the assets, but asset holders will have special access, special perks, right? I mean, that makes total sense, right? They're buying an NFT, you're basically contributing to the development of the game. If the game gets developed as planned, you're going to get some type of perk for holding that NFT, right? So what I'll do is, and there's a lot more in this white paper here. There's the development roadmap. I would take a look at this. Looks like we're here, right? We're still in phase zero, even though they've got some previews rolled out, and there'll be several phases of rollout. Now, what I was told just a little while ago was that the Daisuke, which is the third clan minting now, they receive the highest amount of ninja tokens via staking. I have one from one and one from two, but I'm going to go ahead and mint one of these. I'll show you how to do that. And if you're interested, at least now you have a model to follow here. Here's the Ada Ninjas website. This is where I'll be minting. You can see it's nicely laid out. I got the white paper here where it says Ninja Scroll. You could do some, recon work to check out who the team is. They're all doxed. Lots of content, some info about the clan wars. Here's their season 1, season 2 NFT collections, and then manga comics. So you could see this is a manga. This is a manga project. Hopefully, you could realize that by now. Here you go. No shady link in a Discord chat where you don't know anybody in the chat. And I'll pay via NFT Maker Pro. Here's what NFT Maker Pro looks like if you haven't minted this way before. You can pay with Eternal Wallet. You could send manually. I'll just send manually. It really doesn't matter. I'm not a robot. Let's see what I got to pick here. Traffic lights. This is real good security. And if I click this, it'll show the wallet address. And that's it. You just copy and paste it into your wallet. You could even do this with your Roy wallet, right? The worst wallet in the world. You could mint an NFT with NFT Maker. So I'll do that, and then later on in the video, I'll show you what I ended up minting. That's fun. For some reason, I always like minting NFTs, even though it's such a gamble. So anyway, on to the next segment. All right, so the second project I'd like to talk about is Cardania. This is another one that's minting now. And if you scroll through the website, you'll see there's the mint, right? These are avatars for their game. This project, more than any other, has just tons of moving parts. I would highly recommend that you read their RAD paper. Their RAD paper you could find up here. There's going to be a version 2 in the coming weeks, but get started with version 1. RAD refers to their token, right? Their in-game token, RAD tokens, and these are generated by their terraforms, which are their lands. So there are 20,000 terraforms. They produce varying amounts of RAD tokens, and every epoch you can harvest these, and I'll show you how to do that later in this segment. But basically, this is tied to their stake pool. You could see their stake pool is SUMN, summoning pool. And depending on the performance of the summoning pool, different amounts of the RAD tokens get distributed to people who stake with them and harvest from this living land here, the terraform. We'll get into that a little bit later, but first let's look at a little bit of their RAD paper and talk about the game that they are developing. Here is the Cardania RAD paper, 17-page beauty of a document here. Definitely worth the read, but it feels like homework. There's a lot of moving parts, like I said, but this is totally organized, and it's actually easy to understand if you're first coming into the project. So nice little introduction section introduces the project, the summoning stake pool, which I mentioned earlier. And it says, what is Cardania? It's a trading card game. Well, it's more than that, right? There's going to be a kind of virtual world game and a trading card game that are somewhat intertwined. And as I scroll through this massive development tree here, I want to get down to the the lore, right? So Cardania takes place a million years into the future, and it says it's a glorious, chaotic testament to humanity's perseverance in the void of space. So another fictional world being created here in Cardania. And you've got these different factions, and the avatars that are minting now, right? They have different traits in their metadata that will complement various various factions in this game. Like your avatar is going to be you in the game, right? With different there's different rarities, there's different traits. Now, um, the specifics of the game involve your land, your terraforms getting invaded. You'll have to defend your land somehow. But there are cards that go with this as well, and there's going to be a card game that, from what I've been told, is going to have kind of a Hearthstone, Magic the Gathering type feel. And I want to take a look at that. Here's the RAD token page here, worth checking out. And here we go. So these are actually fungible tokens that are sold out. There are, I believe, 7. Yeah. So there are 5 that sold out, 2 still to be sold. Right. So there are 1,000 of each. You could have minted these, sometime over the last year. They were minting for months at a time. And these fungible tokens eventually get redeemed for playing cards. This is a preview here. These are pretty cool. And the playing cards, the art, I've been told, will be ready sometime in the coming weeks. And you'll turn these in and get your cards, right? There's going to be different rarity levels with the cards, and a playable deck's going to require 30, right? So I think each pack is 5 or 6, yeah, 6. So 5 packs of the same type will allow you to play. And here's what the game board will look like, if you want to call it a game board. And again, like I said, similar to Magic the Gathering, Hearthstone. The game's kind of, there's going to be an interaction between the player avatars, right? The citizens, ships, land, and different support tokens, which will add all these different layers of complexity, and will lend to different styles of play. Now, if you don't know anything about Cardania NFTs, the founders cards minted like a year ago, and these were fungible tokens. Originally, these had no real use case as far as the game goes, but then later they added that any holder of these cards would get an airdrop of the land. So there were 10,000 total founders cards. So 50% of the land, the terraforms for Cardania, were given away to people who had these in their wallets. So yeah, there's different colors, and these minted for I think 20 or 25 ADA. People that were really good at the secondary market were able to flip these for like 50 or close to 100x, depending on the color, the different rarities here. And even though some of the utility was taken away from these, or all the utility really, once the terraforms were airdropped, these are still selling for above the mint price, which is unbelievable for this game. And they're really cool. They're original cards that were precursors to what you'll get when you redeem your unopened packs over here. Now, another NFT collection. Remember, all these different NFT collections are under Cardania. They're separate policy IDs. So when you look them up on, let's say, OpenSea, you could sort. You click on Cardania, and you could there's a drop down. You could look at the different policy IDs, and I believe there are 12 or 13 policy IDs. One of the policy IDs is for this interplanetary postage collection. It's not clear how these are going to be implemented in the game, right? So last I heard, I guess they were throwing around some ideas on how these will be used. I don't think anything's been officially announced yet. Otherwise, they'd be selling for a lot more on the secondary market, and there'd be a lot less of them, I would assume. But yeah, I do have a couple of these. So I plan on just holding them to see what happens, right? I don't know what they're going to be used for yet. Here are the terraforms. Terraforms are the land, and they have a bunch of different attributes, and they produce different resources. And they have different rarities, right? Just like any other NFT. These were airdropped, like I said, 10,000 to people that held founders cards. Another 10,000 were minted, I think in like January, something like that. And there's a bunch on the secondary market. So if you're one of those people who has to have land for every NFT collection that produces some type of land token, here you go. They're really cool. I would recommend reading a little bit about the different traits before you just start picking them off the secondary market. But what in general, what I could say about these lands is that they produce all these different resources, right? The resources are fungible tokens. They were uploaded onto the blockchain recently. And every 5 days, you can go to a website and it's a wallet transaction and you could harvest your resources from your lands and the RAD tokens that each land produces. So the power level of the Terraform, along with how well the stake pool performs, the summoning pool, that will determine how many RAD tokens you get every 5 days, every epoch. So I'll let you know what that looks like, and then we'll take a look at some of the avatars as well. All right, here's the Living Lands website. It's ll.cardania.com. Um, you go to the website. There's a place where you put your wallet address. You just copy and paste it, or you could do the $ ADA handle. It will bring you to a page like this. You have to be staking, by the way, with the summoning pool, SUMN, right, in order to harvest these resources. So if you're not doing that already, just quick switch your delegation to a different stake pool. It'll take a little while to catch up, maybe like a couple weeks, I think, and then you should be good to go. Now, this power level is the combined for all the different lands that I own. I had a whole bunch of founders cards, so I got airdropped a whole bunch of these lands, and these are the RAD tokens produced this epic. This changes based on the performance of the stake pool, which is really interesting. They've tied the stake pool to the assets in their in-game economy being developed. Now, different lands, due to different traits and different levels of those traits, or different colors of those traits, let's say, will produce different resources. So you could see here, got machine components, light wood, runes, funky liquid, all these different resources for this game. And all I have to do is harvest here. Now if I click this, it's going to give me a message. It says you already completed this transaction. But a wallet address should come up. You send like 5 ADA. They send you back some ADA and all the resources as well. So again, this will be depending on your wallet address, who you're delegating to, and how many and what types of terraforms you have. But this is what it looks like. Hopefully this helped you if you had trouble understanding this before this video. And I'd like to go to JPEG Store to look at the avatars. So the avatars for Cardania are called Citizens, right? It is a verified collection on JPEG Store, not on CNFT Tools yet at the time of this video, but you could see they look pretty cool. There's different traits with these guys as well. I happen to mint the most rare one. It was the Alpha Drone Gold. I think it's like less than 2% chance of minting that. I happened to get that. Really lucky. But these are all really cool. They're all really cool. There's a video about these and their different traits and rarities. I'll link it in the description. These are minting now, or you could swipe them off the secondary market. It looks like these are even less than the mint price. So not a bad way to get your feet wet with Cardania if you're looking to play any kind of blockchain games. Anyway, that's my overview of Cardania. Hopefully it gave you some insight, or at least where to find insight for this massive ecosystem metaverse game here. And we'll move on to the next game, which is Equine. And here's Equine. Anyone that knows me and anyone that talks NFTs with me knows Equine's probably my favorite NFT project in any ecosystem, right? It's very straightforward, right? the design of the game is almost perfect, right? They've partnered with established gaming companies. A lot of research was clearly done to make this vision come together. And I could tell you, as someone who I grew up right next to one of the most legendary racetracks in the United States, as well as a racetrack in another country. Horse racing is a culture of diehard fanatics, and I think this game will get people into the space who would otherwise never buy an NFT, maybe even have cryptocurrency in the first place. So that's just some of the reasons why I like this. I've already done a video where I rated Equine using a system of metrics that I developed along with I Picked Bitcoin. I'll link that in the description for you to watch. There's also a new update from the team. It's a Twitter Spaces. I'll also link that below. And just some highlights of the Twitter Spaces. They hired a marketing manager who has happens to have a background in equine sciences prior to her marketing career. This is another reason why they are being, I think, they'll be cemented as the most serious project out there in bringing the most realistic experience to the users once this game gets done. They also have a working prototype for the app that was talked about in the Twitter Spaces. They're able to now click through different screens, interact with different parts of the game, from racing to breeding. There is some optimization that needs to happen, but it's a nice development for people who were disappointed with the last town hall where they pushed the roadmap back a couple months. Um, Other news from the Twitter Spaces: there are many visual elements of the game being fine tuned for user experience, and they did make it clear that no teasers would be available until there are some improvements, but they are happy with what the game looks like. So, right now, let me give you a quick overview of the game itself, and then we'll go through a few pages of the white paper to do this, and then we're going to go into something that's kind of unique to this project that has to do with building community while the game has to go through all its different long stages of development. All right, here's the white paper. Just got this off of the website equine.gg, and you could see another beauty, 29 pages, but we're not going to go through most of it. A lot of it just talks about the NFTs themselves. I want to skip down to page 15 where they talk about the racing mechanics. So let's do that. All right. So there's a pre-race, mid-race, post-race phases of this, and the the races, it says here, are performed based on an original racing engine. Right, it's built in detail. It's going to simulate all the different elements that they could think of that have to do with real racing horses. Now, the in the pre-race, the user will be able to select a specific race they want to compete in, right? And it'll display their horses. They'll pick their horse. And what's nice about this is, just because you don't own the most gifted horse, you'll be able to compete against other horses that are, more or less equal to yours. So it looks like there'll be different tiers. That gives every single NFT in the collection utility and makes it, as desirable as some of the others. Now there's a mid-race phase, and the players basically get to see how their jockey horse combination performs. And a lot of variables are taken into account here, right? They simulate the race. It's displayed so that you feel like you're watching something, right? You're not just looking at numbers on a screen, which is what's going on behind the scenes. And post-race winners receive prizes, and they make it clear in the white paper that as you race and you gain experience, you're actually practicing, and it's going to better understand how the different attributes of the horse mesh with the different attributes of the jockey. And also it will kind of be lined up for different conditions on different racetracks. This will help players strategize for future races. Here's a little bit on race entry fees and earnings. You're going to pay some ADA, and then the winners are going to earn ADA. And you'll be able to select, right, different tiered entry fee levels. And this is separate from the tiers for the abilities of the horse. You might have the best horse, but you don't want to pay that much for entering a race. It looks like you'll be able to select a cheaper race, and then the prizes will be proportionally, different, based on the entry fee. And it looks like first place 60%, second place 25%, third place 15%, whatever the combination is. And there will be 10%, right, taken out in order to fund the platform itself. This is really standard. If anyone's ever played online poker and done a sit and go, they always take 10 to 20% out of the prize pool. This is just, there are costs, and you're having fun. You're playing a game. You do own the game pieces, but you don't always think about what goes into the performance of the game. Now, quick note here: the entry fees and then the earnings. It's not considered gambling, right? And this is according to the white paper, right? Um, they are not advocating gambling of any kind, right? There's going to be tons of regulatory nightmares to go through in order to implement some type of gambling. But what I'm thinking is there will be gambling outside of the racing engine, right? If I'm racing someone's horse that I know, and we do a five entry fee race against a bunch of people we don't know, we could gamble on the side about the outcome, right? And gambling is one of those things that just transcends, cultures. Like every culture that I've ever had experience with, whether it's in Europe or North America or Asia or wherever I've been, gambling is present, and horse racing is it's the perfect sport for gambling. There's a clear winner, right? And there's a clear strategy, but there's also tons of elements that are out of your control, which just adds to the rush of the gambling. I've been to racetracks before. I'm not a big gambler. I don't like gambling, but you bet a couple bucks on a race. Now all of a sudden you love racing, right? At least for a minute. And I think that's what's going to draw even more people into this game. So that's just a quick overview of the gameplay, and I want to go to something else that's developed kind of out of the scope of the white paper, and that's community racing. All right, where am I? Well, I am at Lovelace Downs. This is a fan made um, horse racing game that has nothing to do with the equine team or the equine proprietary racing engine itself, but you could use your horses in this game to race. It doesn't affect the horses. It doesn't affect the activation of the horses, but you could use them, and this gives the community something to do while they await tangible developments from the team. And this is great. You can get involved with your horses. So let's see what this looks like here. Motor bus. I guess I'll go with these. Oh, we know how well this secures the internet. These picking of motor buses and seaplanes and crosswalks feel very secure. And here we go. You can enter your name. I'll put Ledger. It's my name, Ledger. And then a wallet address. So whatever your wallet address is. I know this is the Equine NFT stable for the Hive Discord. The Hive is a Discord of a bunch of creators just talk NFTs, give each other ideas, get out firsthand information to serious collectors and community members. So I know that they have a stable. I'm going to put this in. Now I can select my horse. I'll go with this one. Here are your horse's abilities. These will change, by the way, as your horse becomes activated in the real game, and aging and practicing takes over. Let's select this one. And what's my horse's name? Um, uh, I'll go with Kryptonite. And here you go. You get an invite link, and you could get a link to invite people to view the race. So this is the invite to race. This is the invite to view. And then as this fills up, the race will go off. The equine team, which is great, has nothing to do with the actual equine NFT project, but they've embraced this. they are raffling off spots to have official, well, that I shouldn't say official, but they're calling them underground invitationals. So again, this is not part of the equine NFT um, creators' plans. Community members or a community member put this together. Now people have something to get excited about. They have reason to keep their horses, and I think this is a great way to build community while the full timeline needed to develop an actual playable game happens. So again, this is Lovelace Downs Racing. I'll put the link in the description, and we'll wrap this video up by checking out the Ninja that I minted earlier. So my purchase went through, and before I reveal my NFT, let me just wrap up this video. Right, we looked at three different gaming projects, and we just looked a little bit into the mechanics of each game. It's up to you to take this starting point and dig deep and research it and decide if you think owning the NFT will you know be a good thing for your portfolio, or if you just like to hang around the communities and wait for the game to be developed, because there'll be ways for you to get involved without actually owning an NFT. So we looked at Ada Ninjas. This is a manga based multimedia entertainment company where gaming is just one aspect, and these games will result in being rewarded in their own ninja token. We looked at Cardania, which is a metaverse play where you have this futuristic virtual world. There's land involved, and there are going to be multiple games against the backdrop of that futuristic setting. And then we've got Equine, which is a racehorse management game, and there are all these different variables that the racehorse owner has to consider when they're racing their horses with different racetracks, different jockeys. There's built-in genetics, and there's a breeding function, something we didn't talk about in this video, but I talked about a little bit in my previous one. So let me reveal this token, and then we'll wrap it up. It says unique, but we'll see. There are some really rare um, one-off NFTs still left in this collection, so let's see what this looks like. Any day now, Cardano. And here we go. This is my newest Ninja. I have a bunch of these now. They got six. So I really like these. I think I'm going to kind of stay close to the project, to be honest with you. And, maybe do some videos in the future of more developments, you know, come up. Same thing with Cardania, same thing with Equine. So hopefully you stuck around this long, and I really appreciate it if you would like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Any questions, you could just throw them in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer them. And if you think I missed anything, hey, feel free to let me know, and we could talk about it. All right. Thank you very much.